Greetings and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Play Metroid Prime. I'm Paradigm Gamer, and in this part, we're going to be heading back towards Tallon Overworld, but before we do, there are a bunch of power-ups that we can grab now that we have the gravity suit, plus a bunch of new upgrades that we've gotten along the way that I'd like to go pick up now. Oh, I want to try something out real quick. Now, while I was editing the footage earlier and I was glancing at the scan entry for the She-Goth, it came to my attention that you can actually bomb these motherfuckers. I never knew that. You can bomb them to death. Holy shit. I can't be the only person who didn't know about that. Alright, apparently when you get frozen, you have to use bombs to get out. You learn something new every day, I'm afraid. Alright, up over here. So yeah, like after you kill Thardus, there's always a She-Goth in there. And when we get a certain beam weapon later on, the last one that we still do not have, you know, I'm going to be wanting to use that, because that'll be a fun experiment, if I do say so myself. I was hoping I'd be able to get them before they saw me. Now the other one's going to be coming after me. And again, the easiest way to take out these motherfuckers is to use a super missile, which is very costly. You know, we just got 4 of them back right there. So yeah, before we leave this place, I do want to grab a few power. And by the way, you can use your... And you guys probably saw me use it earlier, so I'm not going to explain that. You can use the spider ball track there to get to the top relative. Come on, open up. And we're going to... Depending on how long this takes, I want to end this part with us at the entrance of the area of Tallon Overworld. And there's not too much to get here. Because, like, again, we're still going to have to come back for some... There's still some things we'll have to come back for. But, you know, for the most part, we can get just about anything we might want. Well, there's a bunch of stuff we can get, and we might as well swing through and grab it now, because we're going to be heading to a pretty tough new area that's going to require just about anything we can muster. So we want to grab everything that we can while we can do it. I have to kill this to open the door, don't I? Die. At least there aren't any more of those useless ice burrowers that are exactly the same thing as the regular burrowers, except they're not. Yeah, over here is the first of the things we can grab. I think I might want to go use a save station. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but the Hop Hog once again has tricked me into thinking that it stopped recording. I think I'm going to get an Elgato Capture HD at some point in this next year, because... either that or Hop Hog really needs to get off their ass and update some of this bullshit, because I can't take it. It's just so ridiculous. Every time I think I'm recording something, like it's gotta be... Nope, I'm gonna trick you into thinking you're not. S-shaped room, by the way. I don't think I really have to mention that, but you can see in the mini-map. I don't really have to zoom in again, but... yes, there is something we can get up here. Up over there is another spider ball track, but it's obscured, so we're gonna climb up around over here. And again, you might recollect a couple parts ago I mentioned that there are a bunch of floating rocks in what's the deal with that? There's like a stalactite with a freaking... there's like a stalactite with a booster on it, so this is a cordite. So once again, as we all know, cordite is weak to super missiles. Scan this, activate it. And what's weird is that the scan entry, or the scan point thing for that, is the same as the one in the Chozo Ruins, so you don't even have to, like, scan it all the way. So does that, like, count? Is it, like, an exact instance of the same thing? But, you know, another missile up here. Really basic. That one can be a little easy to forget. I haven't forgot it yet, but, you know, I was also the idiot who forgot that there was indeed a, about that one really easy to find one in Magmore Caverns the last time I played this by myself. So now at this point we're going to be backtracking to the Chozo Ruins. There's nothing we can really get in Magmore at the moment. Well, there might be something, but I doubt it. I'm sure I'm on top of things for now. So I think what I'm going to do here is actually cut to when we arrive at the Chozo Ruins. I might show off that stupid elevator room again because of how much I hate that motherfucking room so much. But, you know, as for the... I'll see you guys when I get back to the Chozo Ruins. Why does this room exist? Why does this room exist? Like, seriously, who was the dumb motherfucking buttfuck idiot who decided that this room was a good idea? It's not. It just slows things down. It doesn't need to exist, because there's an elevator on the other side of this wall. And then elevators go up, so why does... I don't know. At any rate, we've finally come back to the Chozo Ruins. I'll probably just note to myself as the editor, just leave a couple of extra minutes here towards the end. Like, again, I want to end this part when we get back to Tallon Overworld. Let's see, I want to make sure I head back to the right direction. Oh, yes. So actually, I think what we're going to do to start off here is we're actually going to go grab an artifact, because why the hell not? First, we want to take care of these war wasp hives, because war wasps are annoying motherfuckers that can't stop respawning for some goddamn reason. Like, when you destroy a hive, you think it'd take these assholes a while to, you know, to rebuild them or something. But no, they, like, respawn almost a moment after you leave the room. So this thing is made of cordite, just like the other things that look just like it. Slam it with the missile, and you will see, revealing its ugly head, are more motherfucking runes. Just scan them and they activate just like before. There are a couple of them on the backs of these pillars, so those can be a little difficult to spot if you haven't played the game before. Let's see, and that's the last one. And now we can climb up the spider ball track here, of which we could not do before because it was blocked. Then we're going to furl up into a ball of a haze. Climb on it. Ooh. Boom. Come on, move. Ugh. And yes, you might have noticed that when you use a bomb to jump up, the little platforms do indeed disappear. So that does mean that if you fuck up, you do have to leave, go through 2 rooms. Chozo Ghost. It does indeed mean that you have to go back a couple rooms if you want them to respawn, so that's kind of annoying. Actually, I've never tried this, but maybe it's like the other little blocks where, like, if you leave the room, or if you wait like a couple of seconds, they'll instantly respawn. I don't know, I haven't checked. So we were here back in Flagger's room. Now, I want to show this off briefly, just so that people know that this is indeed a thing. I think it's this one. Yeah, Sun Chamber high atop our ruined home became the nest of a great beast and a source of corruption. So this is our hint that we want to go back to the Sun Chamber for an artifact. So, like, as much as some people may bitch about the, you know, trying to find the artifacts, it's really not that bad because there are plenty of in-game hints. Like, you can't get them all right away, but there's still plenty of them, you know. Yeah. Die. Where's the other one? Oh. Finding these, and look, like, the room is so dark. How is it dark? There's a fucking sunlight thing. There's a skylight. That's what they're called. Skylight. There's a fucking hole in the ceiling. How is it so dark? Do the Chozo ghosts just have power over time and space to be able to... Whoa, asshole. Chozo ghosts are just the most annoying enemy in Metroid history. Oh, I don't know. Those things in Other M that hang from the ceiling and have those creepy looking eyes are pretty bad too, but... I don't know, I don't think really anything beats Chozo Ghosts. I don't think anybody would really disagree with me on that. Maybe the Grunchlers from Echoes. Boy, 3D Metroid really has its problem with annoying enemies, I must say. But yeah, just take care of those Chozo Ghosts, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Then you can climb up here, maybe. I've never fallen in there before. Yeah, and then climb up the flower. It looks like you wouldn't be able to do it, but you can. And this here is the Artifact of Wild. Come on. I don't need to hear the whole jingle, alright. Alright, now we're going to head back through here. And we're going to be going back to another room earlier that I mentioned before that I wanted to wait until I had a specific power-up to go back to so I could swing through and grab 3 power-ups at once. Because we needed both the spider ball and the gravity suit to get everything in that room. Now that we have both of those things, it only makes sense to do it now. Let's see, trying to remember. And this room, get in there. And this room right here, which you might remember is the big, tall, what is it, the Great Hall, I think the room is actually called. From now on, whenever you enter it, there will be Chozo ghosts, and you want to. And if you can go through the room fast enough, you'll be able to go through the other door before the Chozo ghosts actually like fully spawn and start attacking you. What are you doing? The control is fucking on me a little there. Again, I really like having the full aiming control in the Wii version. It's another reason why it's my favorite of the two. There are a lot of people like, again, like I keep bringing this up in like my reviews and my playthroughs and all that stuff, but some call me Johnny. You know, he doesn't really care for the Wii version. And it really seems to me like the biggest reason for that is, one, he already has like a perfectly functional GameCube version. Why would he need this? And second, he just doesn't care for motion control. The Great Clement really doesn't care for it either. Which is ironic, because he'd probably enjoy this version better because the control is just that much smoother, in my opinion, because he got the dual analog. But you know, like, I'm not one of those... I do concede that motion control on the Wii especially was not as fully implemented as it could have been, but they still did some pretty impressive stuff with what they had. S-shaped room, S-shaped room, S-shaped room. It still did some pretty impressive stuff with some of these games, like the Prime Trilogy in particular, Skyward Sword. They made pretty good use of it in the Galaxy games as well. I mean, like, and those are only like 5 games out of like the whole Wii library that I can really think of that really used it effectively. I haven't played Wii Sports Resort yet, but you know, like, I'm sure that did a pretty good job with it as well. But you know, I really think that, you know, the Prime Trilogy, the Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Wii, you know, it made a really good use of motion control that, you know, none of the other consoles really could claim to have done. Like, I'm pretty sure that I haven't played any of like the PS Motion or PS Move or whatever the hell it's called, but I'm sure like it didn't do anything nearly as... Because like it's not only a really creative use of motion control, it's just really fluent and easy to pick up and play. I mean, like, and that's not necessarily something I can say about the original GameCube version. At the original GameCube version, like, I had experience playing like Star Fox Assault, so picking up the GameCube version even after I played the Wii version, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. I could get into the control scheme just fine. But you know, like, if you're someone who plays a lot of Call of Duty or Halo or whatever, and you're used to having that dual analog, it's gonna be kind of interesting getting used to that. It's a much different control scheme that a lot of people are used to. So, you know, I think if you want my honest recommendation of which version you should go pick up, I think it'd be easier for people to get into the Wii version than it would be for the GameCube version, because you know, just considering just how much hate Star Fox Assault gets for virtually no reason. Oh, I didn't grow up with this game like I did with Star Fox 64, so it's impossible and bad and I hate it. It's one of those games, you know, where people hate it just because they didn't grow up with it, and it does things a lot differently than some kind of nostalgic... What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean, like, there are games out there that are just like nostalgic sacred cows, so to speak, where like, you can't question it because it's perfect, because I grew up with it, sort of dealio. And Star Fox 64 is one of those games, in my opinion. It's a good game. It is. I like Star Fox 64. I've played through it tons of times, but I will never understand why there are people out there that, to this day... Where's the other Chozo Ghost? I know there's another one. Where is it? Alright, if you're not going to show up, I'm just going to move on with the room. Now it's like really dark, but... You know, I really just don't see... Like, Star Fox 64, it's got... Sure, it was one of the first games to use, like, dedicated full voice acting and the like, but it's not very good voice acting. Like, it hasn't aged for... Like, I'd say that the voice acting in Star Fox 64 is about as good as Resident Evil. Maybe even less good, because at least Resident Evil, you know, had darker themes and, like, really explored it with its lore and stuff. Like, and that's coming from a guy who doesn't even like Resident Evil, like, at all. Or survival horror in general. I can at least appreciate that. You know, like, really, Star Fox 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, any game from the 3D era that had voice acting, the problem with it is just age. Like, the standards were not as high back then. So, like, I can accept that, I can accept that Star Fox 64 doesn't have perfect voice acting, but still, Assault has a much better... Even though the story's not particularly amazing, it's still better than Star Fox 64, which basically just recycled Star Fox in the SNES. Like, I will never understand why people love that game so ridiculously much. It's a good game, and I enjoy it to a certain extent, but it does not match the SNES game, in my opinion. And Assault is still a much better game. How did I get into this topic? I don't know. We're running a little late, and even though I cut out a bunch of stuff earlier, I'm going to end the part after I finish this tower here. And in my practice playthrough, I didn't bother to come back here until after I started a particularly challenging area of the game. So, you know, I figured, what the fuck. I might as well grab everything now while I'm heading back to Tallon Overworld. And the way things are looking, I might have to wait. I might have to cut things off immediately after I get this next power-up. But, yeah, there was an artifact down there. And that one's probably one of the easiest to get in the game, honestly. These enemies right here, they are not regular puffers. If I can scan them somehow. No, that's a... Where the fuck are they? There it is. This right here is a plated puffer. Mutated puffer with reinforced epidermis. Phase-on exposure has created a mutant strain of puffers on Tallon 4. They have developed plated skin, making them harder to burst. Concussive weapons can still do the job, however. The gas within the plated puffer is just as deadly as that within their cousins. Excuse me. So basically, with this room, there are cracks in the little pillars, and we have to destroy them in order to platform up. I should probably scan this guy, because this guy is called an Oculus, wall crawler that generates electrical pulses. The Oculus exposes its single eye when active. The electrical field that covers it is enough to deter most predators. If the Oculus detects anything capable of presenting a real threat, it retracts into its impermeable shell. So these things, if you hit them with your missile by accident, it'll bounce off of them. But apparently, the actual explosive field generated by the splash damage will actually hurt them. But if you actually hit them, they'll bounce off, and then you've wasted a fucking missile. And don't come into this room until you have a decent supply of missiles. Because, otherwise, if you run out, there's really no way to refill them, unless if you either grind a bunch of scarabs for them, or you go back to your ship and restock. But, your ship's all the way in Tallon Overworld, so, by the time you get back... And if you leave the room without finishing it, the pillars will respawn somehow. I'm not sure how that works, but it just happens, I don't know. I really wish that I didn't have to shoot 3 of them to crack open a single wall. Usually when I play this, I use super missiles, but, after I had one bad experience where I ran out of them just in time to not make it all the way to the top, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that anymore. Right here is the charge combo for the wave beam. It is called the Wave Buster. And we'll probably be getting into that a little more in the next part, because I've kept you guys long enough as it is, so I think we're going to cut things off here. In the next part, we're going to be heading back to the Tallon Overworld and starting a brand new area of the game. Until then, I'm Paradigm Gamer, and I will see you guys next time.